simple message that a person may get is, oh, all I need is the HPV vaccine and then I don't have to worry. No, you still need barrier method protection because you still want to avoid coming in contact with other types of the HPV virus, type 16 and 18, which do cause a good percent, maybe 70% of cervical cancer, are not the only types you could come in contact with. So we've been writing about these issues, and we've been seeing that there's a whole group of younger women coming forward who are going to lead the movement, as we call it, the women's health movement. They're in the National Women's Health Network. They're in Our Bodies, Ourselves. Two of them were here today. One's an intern from Middlebury College, Kate Murray, and the other one, Gabriella Hakim, is from Oberlin. We're also working with interns from Brandeis University, from Simmons College, sometimes from Harvard, and we're more than excited about the potential for the future. I think that you've got to have an attitude to be an activist. You can't be a wallflower. You've got to be someone willing to get out there and say it like it is, but always with humor, one would hope. And I'm going to close with a recommendation for two things. And one is that if you have a chance to see these performances, please do. Actually, there's a few more things here. One is Kailani Lee, who's a very talented actress, has decided to spend the last maybe 15 years of her career to bring to life women in our history who've done extraordinary things. She does a one-woman performance, multimedia, but she's the only one on stage. That is just mesmerizing. First, she took on Rachel Carson. Bill Moyers discovered this, so there's now a TV, there's a movie that was done of her. It's called A Sense of Wonder. And it's done all pretty much in the first person. And it gives you a window on what Rachel Carson, as one of our luminaries and one of our revolutionaries amongst women who were in the field of science, in a challenging arena, gives you a great sense of what she was up against, and very compassionate. The other is a fabulous performance about the life of Mother Jones called Can't Scare Me. And Kailani did come up to Boston and did it at Northeastern University last year, but we're trying to get her back here because I don't think there were 300 people who got to see her during her two performances there. But these are terrific, totally inspiring stories of women that whom I see as heroines. So for the men in your life, please send them to the Jane Doe Inc. website because White Ribbon Day is coming up. How many of you know what White Ribbon Day is? It's something that's been around for at least 6-7 years. It's run by the Men's Initiative for Jane Doe Inc., and it's about engaging men in violence prevention. And this year, the chair of the White Ribbon Day campaign is Governor Deval Patrick. He'll be there. It's March 6th, I think, at the State House. There's always a big event. But what I find most inspiring is that there are teenage boys, there are sports teams, there are sheriffs, there are police officers, there are coaches, sports coaches, there are legislators, men from all walks of life who come, and women come too, to talk about our role as men to stop violence against women. And as you know, Eve Ensler has changed in the last few years to engage many more men in her work, which is also about violence prevention. And I also want to ask you two things. One is, if you think about a college campus that might use copies of Our Bodies, Ourselves, and you know a few alums who are interested in making that happen, get in touch with me. We are reaching out to administrators to encourage them to get the book at a clinic copy discount, which is 30% of the cover price. You have to just give these books out. You can't resell them. And make them available to incoming freshmen, because there is a level of ignorance that one would not have anticipated in this day and age with all that's on the internet. The problem is different from our era, where we didn't know it, but we knew we didn't know it because the information was hard to read anywhere. Now there's so much misinformation on the internet, you think you know it, and you have a lot of wrong information. So that's what I'm getting from college campus nurses and physicians. The American College Health Association met here last year, and there were some amazing stories from some of the campus providers. And it's also what our interns tell us who come in. They're sometimes graduate students, mostly undergraduates. Some of them work on campuses elsewhere. We're like a virtual office, so we even work with students who don't necessarily come to Boston. But the level of ignorance has shocked me. The stories I get told by undergraduates, things their peers tell them, I cannot imagine to be true in this day and age. But it's a reason why our bodies, our cells is needed more than ever. So we're trying to think about how to reach colleges where it is okay to do this. There are schools that they can't do it because of the chapter on abortion and contraception. MIT makes a stack available. They used to give it to every incoming freshman, but now, no, it's not. It's not okay. You have to take the initiative of taking the book yourself. Because there are conservative families who would not like a school to give out a book like that. But one thing that has become clear to me is that even among the conservative staffers in Congress, some of whom came up to me afterwards and said, I love your book, we can't use it here because, of those chapters in there, but it's really helped all of us who are staffers here, thank you for doing it. So surreptitiously, the book plays a role even in settings where it is not considered a welcome ally or friend. And for younger women, these are women before college age, and especially young women who are in more disenfranchised settings where the schools may not be that great, the literacy skills may not be superlative. I encourage you to take some copies of Teen Voices and give them out to a Boys and Girls Club, to a Y, to any community setting that you might know about that serves young girls. We are, just in the last year and a half, orchestrated a fabulous arrangement whereby Teen Voices magazine, which went under about a year and a half ago, we set up an online version of the magazine with Women's E-News in New York City, and we set up a local project with a group in Boston, Right Boston, so that the mentoring of the young women and the teaching about writing and editing would continue here. And in the meantime, we have about 3,000 back issues, really terrific back issues. A friend of mine's storing in her basement, and we want to get them out. And we have student interns who will drive them to your location. So please take a few issues, take my card, and if you want to help distribute them, they'll be free of charge. We can get them to the young people who tell us whenever they get them. I go to a Y in Brighton, and the students love getting copies there. So help us with this project. It's, Teen Voices doesn't exist as an organization, but it will exist online, and we want these back issues to also have a life. So with that, I'll stop, and I know that my time is